California splits in two and dramatically sinks into the ocean. That's a geological impossibility. The reality is far more subtle and much more terrifying. The most dangerous bombs don't tick loudly. They are quiet. And for almost 400 years, a key section of the San Andreas Fault has been unnervingly silent. All this time, it has only been building stress, winding a colossal geological spring for an explosive release. Scientists are certain the next great earthquake, the big one, is not a matter of if, but when. In this video, based on official scientific scenarios, we'll show you what the first minutes of this catastrophe will truly look like, how it will trigger a global crisis, and what the silence really means. To understand this giant, forget for a moment about the solid ground beneath your feet. Imagine the Earth's crust isn't a monolithic surface, but rather a cracked eggshell. Our planet is covered by these giant, moving plates, and California finds itself on the very edge of two of them, the massive Pacific and North American plates. The San Andreas Fault is the boundary between them. Every year, these two continental landmasses shift by 2 to 4 centimeters. It doesn't seem like much, but it's about the same speed your fingernails grow. The problem is they don't slide smoothly like ice. In many places, the edges of the plates are rough. They snag on each other, get stuck, and for years they build up colossal energy. History has already shown what happens when that spring finally snaps. April 18, 1906, San Francisco. But here lies the paradox and the main hidden threat of today. Not all parts of the fault are equally dangerous. Scientists divide it into 3 segments. The central part of the fault behaves relatively calmly. It slowly creeps, constantly releasing small amounts of stress. But the southern segment, which runs dangerously close to Los Angeles, is locked. It's this seismic silence in the south that worries scientists the most. It's not a sign of safety, it's the calm before the storm. According to geologists like Thomas Rockwell from the University of San Diego, the average cycle for major earthquakes on this section is about 150 to 200 years. But the southern segment has been silent for almost 400 years. Therefore, in the worst-case scenario developed by the US Geological Survey, the magnitude of the big one is expected to reach 8.1 on the Richter scale. California will not break off and fall into the ocean. It's a geological impossibility. The San Andreas is a transform fault. This means the plates move horizontally past one another, so Los Angeles won't sink. Instead, it's slowly, centimeter by centimeter, drifting north towards Alaska. If California isn't facing a waterlogged apocalypse, what will actually happen? Imagine a typical Tuesday morning, 9:30 a.m. Rush hour in Los Angeles. Millions of people are at work, on the road, in schools, and suddenly, it all starts with a barely perceptible vibration and a deep, low-frequency rumble coming from beneath the ground. For those with the Shake Alert early warning system, you have anywhere from a few seconds to a minute to act. Hospitals halt surgeries, trains begin emergency braking, elevators automatically descend to the ground floor, and then the shockwave hits. The rupture spreads along the fault at a speed of 3 kilometers per second. That's 3 times faster than the sound of a jet fighter. In the first 45 seconds, the crack will travel over 150 kilometers. Older buildings constructed before modern seismic codes collapse like houses of cards. Bridges, the city's arteries, begin to sway and crumble. Underground utilities, water, and gas lines rupture. After 2 minutes, the shaking reaches its peak. In some places, the ground will shift horizontally by 10 to 15 meters. The main shaking lasts for 2 to 3 minutes, but this is just the beginning, because when the ground settles, a different kind of hell begins. When the Earth finally stops, the first thing survivors feel is a sense of relative relief, but it doesn't last long, because the main enemy in a ruined metropolis isn't the aftershocks, but fire. Hundreds, if not thousands, of fires erupt simultaneously. At the same time, the city plunges into darkness. Power plants shut down automatically, and more importantly, the water disappears, and the pressure in fire hydrants drops to 0. Communication is the next thing to go. Cell towers are damaged or overloaded. Millions of people try to call their loved ones at the same time, and the network crashes. But that's not all. Over the next hours and days, a series of aftershocks begins. Some of them can reach magnitudes of 6 or even 7, powerful earthquakes in their own right. They finish off weakened buildings and sow a new wave of panic. According to forecasts, the death toll could reach the thousands and the injured tens of thousands. The largest humanitarian crisis in modern US history begins, and when the scale of the destruction becomes clear, a mass evacuation attempt begins. California is trapped. It might seem like a tragedy for one state, but in the modern world, that's not the case. The consequences of the big one will be felt by everyone, and it will all start with the economy. Direct losses from the destruction, according to US Geological Survey estimates, could exceed $200 billion. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. The real blow will hit global logistics. The ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach are the main gateways for trade between Asia and the US. Nearly 40% of all container cargo entering the country passes through them. Millions of people will lose their homes. This will trigger the largest internal migration in US history, creating colossal pressure on neighboring states and the entire country's economy for decades to come. After all we've seen, a logical question arises. Are we completely powerless against this force of nature? Can we somehow prevent this? The answer is simple and categorical. Preventing an earthquake is impossible. It's as unrealistic as stopping the planet's rotation. But humanity wouldn't be humanity if it didn't learn to confront challenges. We can't stop the storm, but we can build a stronger house. Our main weapon is knowledge and preparation, early warning systems, continuous infrastructure reinforcement, public education, and creating strategic reserves. Every second of lead time, every reinforced building, every go bag, these are lives saved. California is preparing, but will it be enough? The San Andreas Fault is not just a geological anomaly. It is a powerful and harsh reminder. A reminder that we live on a dynamic, living planet that breathes, moves, and changes according to its own laws. We have built our glass and steel cities on the skin of this giant, forgetting that it is only sleeping. And the big one is not a curse, but an inevitable process. Part of a great geological cycle that existed for millions of years before us and will continue for millions of years after. Therefore, the main question the San Andreas poses to us isn't just about California. It is a question for all of humanity. Are we ready to acknowledge our vulnerability and learn to live in harmony with the mighty forces of our own planet? Thank you for watching.